Put out messages, man, to try to, help people. This world can be dark, man, and it can get you down if you let it. So I just try to be the light, man, to guide people out, as much as possible.
That's what's up. No, I truly appreciate it. I want to say thank you for taking time for me. I know we don't have much time. Just to do a little introduction about who I am. Jeez. I served over 15 years on active duty in the U.S. Army, caught a felony charge, um, was in county lockup for 60 days. And it was in that time that I believe God started speaking to me, asking me two things. One, what do I see? Surrounded around 75 men in a pod. I saw men. He said, what else do you see? I said, I see men with potential. And the next thing I heard was the game changer for me. And that was, you're one of them. From that point in 2013, 14, I've been on this mission. Well, rephrase that, since 2010. Since 2010, I've been on this mission to really impact lives, help men become the best version of themselves, tap into their God-given purpose and potential. So the leadership is about making the shift in your personal leadership. How do you become the best person you can be? I got it. We got faults, we got shortcomings, but each day you have to strive to be the best. So the shift is an acronym. What opportunity do I need to seize? What area do I need to heighten my sense of awareness? What blind spots do I need to identify? Where do I need to lay my focus so I can become the best version of me? And how can I take action on the things that's most important to me, moving me to becoming the best version of myself? So I look for men who, one, I believe, walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Excuse me. And so
Right.
what I saw in you, and we share a mutual friend, Shade Rivera.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. Yeah.
And so what I saw in you was a guy, I was like, man, this guy show up all the time. He's always full of inspiration. And I just watched you, man. And
Right.
I loved your energy. And so because I was connected to Shade, I said, you know what, let me shoot my shot to see if I can connect with this guy. So
Awesome. I'm glad you did, man. Like like you just mentioned, it's like being able to connect with, I would say, not like-minded, like valued, right?
uh,
Because we all don't value the same things. You get what I'm saying? So it's, connecting with like valued, it's you may value time, you may value, family, and other people don't do those certain things. So I would say like valued, and I believe that we are all connected. We all meet everybody as a lesson or a blessing. But if I were to clean up the lesson part, I feel the lesson is the blessing. So everything's a blessing, no matter if it's good or bad, because God allows it to happen because he sees the benefit and the growth that it can happen to you for your life. So everything that you've ever endured, everything I've ever endured, it all happened for a reason. Because if not, we would live in that moment of ignorance and keep continuing to do the same things that we're doing year after year. So there's no progression. Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely it does.
So like right now, I mean, there's not a bunch going on. I know I consistently make videos and content as much as I possibly can. Right now, I am a safety consultant. I do audits and stuff for different companies. So I go and make sure that they're compliant with, safety regulations and stuff. So that's kind of been occupying my time. However, I feel that at some point, and I've been, praying for this, that I don't want to work for a corporation. I want to work and do what God wants me to do. So God didn't put me on this earth to be no consultant or no auditor. I'm here for a reason, and we're all got a mission. And so for me, man, I just feel like, yeah, man, I want to be able to make an impact in a way where, mental health, I'm a big mental health advocate. I was I was in the military. I got out after a year because I got injured doing some stupid stuff. And then my way of kind of, I guess making up for that was I started working with missile defense. I worked in the Middle East for 9 years, working on radar systems and things like that. So I had a chance to, help support the military a little bit more and work back with them. And then I had a chance with working amongst the soldiers, and I would always, find myself, having them to come through and talk to them and try to get their minds off of whatever it is that they're going through. And I had one of my friends over there, a real good soldier. He had took his life on social media. And so for myself and another friend of mine called me, said his daughter took her life due to bullying. So at that moment, it hit me like, man, you can sit here and you can complain like everybody else does, be a part of the problem or part of the solution. So I can sit here and say, man, there's so much going on with this world, or I can help. So that's at that moment, man, I realized that mental health is a big thing, in this world. And we all have our people, when people look at, there's so much of a stigma, and me and Shay used to talk about this a lot. And as you know, there's a stigma around it. And I feel that at some point, in some form of fashion, we all have something going on in our lives, some sort of trauma, some sort of past that you never really got over. And it all affects you mentally. So when we say mental illness, I think a lot of people look at it like, oh my God, it's just they look at it in the wrong light instead of saying and accepting and embracing like, hey, I think we're all going through something. So myself included, I got two beautiful girls, daughters that, I want to set the example. I want to show them, that this world isn't kind, but here's what we do. We just don't throw up these problems. We have to, bring out these solutions, and it's inside of all of us. We all can step up and make a change, but it begins with us.
That's real good, brother. That's real good. And you tapped on something that that was interesting to me from the beginning. You say you down this lane of environmental health and safety and risk management, right? And you
Yes.
that believe that God has something else for you other
Yes.
than consulting. And I thought
Yeah.
about that because when I did the research, I was like, man, my man in two different worlds. He's a
You're
motivational
right.
speaker. He's a motivational speaker. What else? Life coach, poet, and all phenomenal things. How do you juggle the two, how do you juggle the two or gain clarity of which lane to move, like for yourself?
So I would say, I get up early, 2 a.m. every morning, man. I make sure that I go to the gym, I meditate, and I pray. I make time because I feel like when I get up early in the morning, that's the time just for me. And I feel like the world is just for me at that moment. And I can, give to myself, recharge myself in every which way before I give myself and my energy to the world. So during those times, whether, if it's 2 a.m., between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., if I have a thought or a message I want to record, I can record it. So I have that time to record it. I also do poetry where I try to use it in different ways, motivational, some sort of message within it. And not recently, but I would say probably, God told me to write this poem called The World is Hungry. And I had no clue where this thing will go. So I had ended up submitting it. Somebody had asked me to submit it to the Feed the Children organization, and my poem was accepted. And they're going to take my poem and use it for the Feed the Children charity organization. So I thought that was real huge and real nice and much of an accomplishment. But just juggling it all, I guess, just to answer your question, for everything that I'm doing, it's time management, and also just the fact of me not being able to make that, an excuse for myself. Does that make sense? Like, I feel that when there's something in your heart and that's that burning passion, that burning desire, it's like, man, something's missing, and you keep pushing for it. Yeah, granted, life is going to be life. Your main job may pull you this way, and it may be so much going on with that way. But at the end of the day, I consistently pray, I ask, I meditate, and I tell God, I'll ask God that, I only want to do what you want me to do. I want to be able to make a major impact before you take me from this earth. Because again, like I said earlier, man, this world is hurting. And we can sit here every day and complain, look at the news and say, man, this is happening, that's going on. But yet and still, we're people in the world are still doing the same stuff. Drama, negativity. You're not even trying to put out or making an influence and talk to this person and help this person. It's so for myself, man, that's just, I'm driven by my ambition.
Unlock your true potential with the Leadership Community, where we empower men to embrace self-awareness and authenticity. Introducing the Leadership Community, where we believe in helping men become the best version of themselves. It all starts with self-awareness, and we encourage men to take a step back, pause, and reflect on their thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Embrace their authenticity and break free from societal expectations. Here are just a few testimonies from individuals. Leadership helped me develop self-awareness and embrace my authentic self. And now I feel more confident and fulfilled. Question: are you ready to unlock your potential? If so, join the Leadership Community today.
To keep doing what I'm to be doing for God, because there's something in me, there's sometimes, to be honest with you, I want to, and I don't want to, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to slow down on it and just focus on this one job, and then there's just something that's burning in me like, dude, don't do it. Nope. And I'm like, nah. And I find myself constantly every day, man, praying to God, like, God, just make the way, provide the connections, provide the people that I need to meet so I can be able to go do this, full time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's real good. And congratulations on that. Your poem being accepted by the Feed the Children. Was it? Oh,
Yeah, Feed the Children organization. It's a charity, and it's a pretty popular charity. I didn't really know the impact of how huge they were. But the vice president, the president of the company, they selected my poem and another person's poem, and they're creating a video for it, and they're going to upload it to the organization, which is pretty cool.
man, that's phenomenal. Congratulations on that. That made a big impact on you. Just to think about the doing something from your heart and the impact that it's going to make in the near future here. So that's great. But you also told this story of mental health. I sense that's that heartbeat for you. Talk to me about mental health in men.
Mental health in men, it is a big, it's part of my just something that touches my heart, man. Not just to, for the sake of, just everybody. This world is hurting, man. And for men specifically, and I love this, man. For men, this world has gave us this ideology that this masculine toxicity where you got to be tough, you got to be this tough guy and walk around. You better not cry. You better not go talk about your feelings. And it's like, listen, I try to tell people, listen, man, if something hurts you, it hurts you. If you want to cry, cry.
Amen.
Stop building up this ideology that men are supposed to be tough. And that's the problem. That's why suicide rates are higher with men, because we feel that, we've been programmed to think, hey, you better not go talk about your problem. You're weak. You're a punk. Or, hey, man, you're sensitive. And it's okay.
Come on.
I cry. Hey, I'm gonna let it out. And if I want to, I'm gonna let it out. It doesn't bother me. But you know what I mean? With this masculine toxicity where it's like, man, I gotta walk around and prove myself. And I gotta look, we all got weaknesses, we all got faults, we got all areas that we need to improve. But the key thing is that self-reflection, that awareness of what's going on. Stop allowing these people to tell you to shut your feelings out. And then you take these feelings by you shutting yourself down and bottling this stuff up. You're doing other stuff that's self-destructing behavior that is like, this is my way to cope with it. So that's really not.
I didn't mean to step on you, but it's
no, you good.
They almost, it doesn't seem like they realize that their actions are impacting not just other areas, but other people.
Yeah, that's true. I really feel like whatever they do, by you hiding those feelings, hiding those emotions, it's also hurting yourself, because, it's like a pipe with pressure in it, man. At some point it's going to bust, and then by you impacting others, let's say it's your significant other, your family members, you may go into isolation. If you're drinking, if you're doing whatever it may be, to try to cope, right? Maybe you're aggressive. Maybe you're angry all the time. You know what I mean? It's just something ain't sitting well with you. And you are projecting, you are just miserable in your own life for whatever reason. But then you hide it through, I gotta go to the club, I gotta have these drinks, and I gotta go, do this. And so instead of you saying, man, it's okay to not be okay, we all are jacked up in some form of fashion, whether it's, it's different levels to this, but we all are hurting in some form. Or I like, this is my thing, the three H's. And we either
Okay.
hurting, hiding, or healing.
Hurting.
You hurting, hiding, or healing.
Oh,
Because
healing.
you can be hurting and you just nobody knows it, and then you can be hiding it where you're really hurting, but you got on this mask. Or then there's the people that are really healing that are saying, man, I realized all of this through awareness, through self-reflection, man, I need to heal. I need to go on a journey of self-healing.
That's real good. That's real good. And I can relate. I definitely can relate. Um, and I'm curious to know, how did you handle it? This masculinity thing. Were you always open and aware of how you handled some challenges in life, or did it take some time? And if so, what were some of the biggest hiccups for you, and how did you overcome them?
Okay. Yep, I did. I really did have, issues with it because, I was adopted and I had a father that was pretty aggressive. He, rest in peace, and I forgave him. It's a lot in my journey, man, traumas that I dealt with being adopted, dealing with the abuse, as a child growing up. And then just realizing that I would never be a father like the one that I had, which was, my adopted father. But I really feel like for myself, until I was able to realize, sometimes you don't realize what you're doing, and you don't realize who you're hurting or what you're saying until you actually sit back and say, damn, man, why am I doing that? I mean, I'm hurting, huh? Like, you really got to sit down and really take it in and say, you got to accept it first, accept the past.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yep, accept the past. I think that's a piece right there that many people want to avoid, to myself included. Myself included. I'm hurting, or I'm hiding, or I'm healing. What was the thing that helped you overcome and move beyond where you were in that moment in
And
time?
what really hit me, man, to be honest with you, and I love this because, I had a quote because I make a lot of quotes and like a lot of pictures, motivational quotes, and I put pictures up and stuff. And back in 2020, when it hit, it was a big change for all of us, man. And I said, 2020 is either going to bring out the beast in you, or it's going to be another excuse that you're going to make. 2020, oh my God, COVID shut us down. But, man, I was still working out at the park. I mean, I was doing so many different things. But also, I want to highlight one thing too, man. So back in 2020, um, my ex and my ex-wife, she, took off on me, so that was a big challenge for me. And it was we can talk offline about it, but just know that it was a troubling time for me. And I realized that I was letting a lot of things go, so my point is that 2020 was the biggest moment. It's like, hey, you're going to wake up right now. This is the moment right now, or you can consistently keep going the way that you are right now. So I had to realize, like, wow, I think it took that divorce for me to actually, look back at myself and say, hey, man, you can go blame this person. You can go blame the past. You can go say your adoptive parent. You can go blame all these situations, but look at yourself. Accept responsibility first. You can blame everybody else, but I can only for so long can I blame my past marriage, my father, and all these other people. But then I had to say, dude, that's enough. Let's no. We need to come on. We need to go to work. This you ain't got you can't sit up here and say you're golden and you had no fault. So I tried to look at every situation at that moment and say, where could I improve? What areas do I need to improve in? So meditation became a thing for me, writing more about my poetry. I did journaling. I created intangible motivation back in 2019. And it was like out of nowhere, I was laying in bed and all of a sudden it hit me like God gave me the tangible motivation. I'm like, okay, God, I don't know what all right. So I created the whole profile. I'm Intangible Motivation everywhere on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook. And, I started off, dude, it was low. And I wanted to give up at one point on the Facebook thing. But man, luckily, thank God, I kept on with it. I didn't. I listened to God. And I'm at 47,000 followers on Facebook.
Let's go.
And so, yeah, man, I just feel like a lot of it was just me meditating, right? Meditating is when we listen, and praying is when we're, talking and asking God for different things. So I think the meditation part allowed me to hear God a little bit more, and to listen to what direction and guidance he wanted from me. So, I think that's where all the poetry poems was just, I've written over like almost 80 poems now. And so it's like at that moment, from 2020 to current, I was like just at a state of flow, like just writing poetry about life, about my biological mom that I never met. I wrote a poem for her. I mean, it was just so many things that I was writing. Like, and you know how people, when they want to get revenge, and you see it in the movies, they go back and they killing all these people or hurting all these people. Like, so I felt like my way was getting, back was, I'm going to forgive you. So I went through this state of, I'm writing these poems for every person that's ever hurt me or made me feel some sort of way, so I can let go.
Wow. That's real good. 80 poems, bruh.
Yeah, like 80 poems, man. I was going crazy.
What
I was in a state of flow.
that sound like a book on the way.
Yeah, that's what I got, a book of poetry, and I also have a book that's in the works. I started it last year. I got the framework for it. I haven't really had time, really, honestly, man, to really sit down. But it's called "Here for a Reason."
Yeah.
Is the title of my book, and like I said, it's still in the works. I still got a lot to do. I did a big chunk, but I definitely wrote a book for that. I'm writing a book called "Here for a Reason," and then the other piece, like you mentioned, I had the idea, just like you just said in your mind, like a book of my poems and stuff. So I was thinking of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to encourage you to, when you find the time, definitely make that happen. I believe that that's going to be phenomenal. But I want to hit on something because you
Okay.
said, and I think many of us go through this, right? I'm actually doing a men's study on how God makes men, right? It's from a book by Patrick Morley where he gives 10 principles. He identifies 10 biblical characters, and he identifies their challenges, and what they had to go through to get to this place where they trust God. And you mentioned about the pain point in your life, where you had with your ex-wife, and you realized for yourself that I had to stop pointing fingers at everyone else and get to this place where I'm listening. And you took on the form of meditation to help you meditate, but also hear from God, get some clarity about where your life is, where what was going on in your life. Um, I think that's phenomenal, and I think that's a piece that men are may be hindered because we don't want to reflect on the hurting piece. We don't want to reflect on the pain point in our life. But needless to say, we don't want to do the work in our life to really overcome that challenge and become better versions of us. What's your word to the guy who's like, you know what? I don't want to go that deep. I don't think I need that.
Well, I love this quote, man. Kevin Gates, and I mean, I don't listen to all of his music, but I do listen to some of his stuff, and he's a pretty inspirational guy. And he said that sometimes it's painful and it hurts to relive the past, but sometimes you got to relive that past in order to heal from it. So that's one of the. I mean, he has amongst a lot of other quotes, but that's one of the deepest. And to me, that resonates because you have to, and if you think about it, some people don't like to go to therapists or therapy, and that's okay. I do believe in self-healing. I do believe it's possible. I mean, I am a walking testament of that. And I'm not saying I'm complete. I'm still on my journey, and I'm a lifelong student, committed and continuously going to keep evolving and growing. But I feel like a lot of people should, be, growing. And the only way you can grow and get better is if you really understand the areas of where you're hurting. I understand it. It hurts. I mean, it sucks to try to sit there and say, dang, I lost my mom, or this happened to me. And why did this go down? And we don't always have the answers to that why. But then, sometimes if you look back later in life, let's say later and you fast forward, I want to say 5 years, and whatever has happened, it's like, okay, you've moved on, things got better or what have you. But then when we tend to, brush stuff under the rug and, bury it and just say, all right, let me keep living on like nothing ever happened, it's going to come out and show up some form of fashion. You can't be the best lover. Your love life is affected in some form of fashion because maybe you're too aggressive. Maybe you're not, sensitive enough, that your capacity of love has a limit. And it's because of the things that we've endured.
Wow,
Does
that's
that make
good.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's good, brother. That's good. I think, and that's a piece too that men I probably would need to talk more about, man. Just that piece, your capacity to love, man. That's real good. Real good. All right. So now, mental health is one. And I heard you say bullying. Talk to me about bullying and the impact that you like to see from that perspective.
Okay. Bullying, man, I would say bullying stems from my childhood, man. I used to fight all the time. And, my mom, rest in peace, I love her to death, man, would always tell me, you don't ever let nobody bully you, and if somebody bully you and they, bully you, I'm gonna whoop your butt. So I was more afraid of my mom than anything. So I was like, you know what? Nope, we ain't doing this. So when I go to school or whatever, you would see all these people, man. You'll see them. They're maybe they got money, maybe they're bigger, whatever the case may be, and they would try to take advantage of the smaller people or the weaker, what they feel that are weaker people. And I didn't like that. So from where I come from, I would always get into fights, and that's just how it was for me growing up. And then, and I don't like to keep harping on it, but my father, rest in peace, really, was violent with my mother and I. And, he was a heavy drinker and things like that. And I would, he would beat on my mom all the time. I would go jump on his back, try to help him. And then he would pull guns, on us, pull a knife on us, or whatever the case may be. And, I looked at it like, man, that's sad that you see that people can be. So I think from a childhood, it's like I grew up like, man, I can't stand bullies. So I think if I were to make the statement of the back history so you understand it, it's I cannot stand bullies, and I would always stand up for the weak and the people that can't protect themselves or don't have the voice, because I was that guy that didn't have a voice. Shut up, okay? You go, okay, go do this, go, okay. And it's like, nah, I'm gonna take a stand because I'm gonna give the voice to the people because I didn't have those certain people. I'm trying to be the person I needed when I was that kid and the person I needed through my darkest moments in my own life. So it's me being able to go stand up, have a voice, and say the things that need to be said. And so that's me taking a stand against anything. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's real good. Thanks for that transparency and honesty there. It's a lot of trauma there, and I think that past experience it really puts you in a place where you can show up as your best self and support people at a higher level. And bullying is definitely a passion. So how do you make impact? What are you doing? Are you talking to youth? Are you going back into schools? How do you make impact?
So I have a lot of content that I've put out, and I try to put out messages as much as I possibly can, but I try to make an impact every time that a thought comes to my mind. See, here's the thing. A lot of people feel in order for them to make an impact, and for them to make change, or in order for them to do something, they need to be this high figure, this celebrity, or this person that has all this amount of money. But I feel like once God puts something in your heart and you go do, you're making that impact, right? And it's 1% changes. And if you can impact the world, you want to change the world, you got to start by changing yourself. But it's also you being able to touch one person, two-person, and if that's all you reach, I think a lot of people look at views and likes and all of that. For myself, if you can get that one person, you can touch that one person, hey, that's a blessing. You've made that impact. Does that make sense? If you
Amen.
save somebody from taking their life, you have made an impact.
Amen.
And what we put out is what we get back. So I try to, I haven't been as active since I moved back to Houston last year in October, and I haven't been since then. I've, worked looking for employment, and then I got a job, and that's been running me crazy. But I did at some point was trying to go into school. This was like before COVID and everything. Was trying to go to the schools and the elementaries and go out, and everything was gonna go well. Then COVID happened. Boom, shut all that down. So then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let none of this stop me. If I get in a speaking engagement, or if I'm able to go talk to this person, talk to that person, that's not gonna stop me. I'm gonna put out the message, or whatever it is that God has put on my heart, or whatever experiences. I never put out a message that I never lived through or personally experienced and said, hey, this is what I learned. So I try to help other people and be that big brother. And so I feel like, speak engagement or not, being this high, big, celebrity figure, whatever, I don't need to be there in order to try to make that impact. I believe every encounter that you make, I think the passion in you, the heart that you have, just by helping other people, right there, you're making an impact. I can get on here and be behind the videos and make these, hey, do this, and then I'm being a complete a-hole out in the streets to all these people. But kindness is where it's at. Being kind to everybody and putting out that love. So what you put out is what you get back.
I love it, man. Every contact you make is a difference maker. I love your self-awareness, man. I love your authenticity. I truly appreciate it. I got to admit, brother, I definitely learned something from you today. And I'm pretty sure that the listeners are taking notes, really gravitating to the message from your heart. Tell the people about a quick snippet about who you are and what you're passionate, some other passions you're passionate about.
All right. But first off, I just want to say, I don't know if I did say it or not, but I want to say thank you first and foremost for, connecting with me and reaching out to me, man. And you're doing a lot of major work. And when Shay told me about you, I was like, man, this dude. And I think we had connected a long time ago, but he had told me about you. And then I was like, okay, I need to. So I had connected with you, and I was like, man, this dude is doing a lot of major work, and I wanted to connect with you for some reason. So we connected. God brings us together. Universe brings us together for a reason. So I want to say thank you, man, for one, connecting with me on LinkedIn and us creating and establishing this brotherhood. And also, you inviting me on your podcast. But Justin Johnson, to everyone, and who I am is the man or the human being, right? I just want to be identified as a human being, as this soul that God has put here on this earth to provide light to this dark world. We all, go through different things in our lives, and we all have these moments in our life where we can either fall back, let it take us under, or we can push forward and we can, conquer those things, get over them. And sometimes it is hard, but I'm just a simple human being, man. I'm nobody, special or anything like that. I know God, we're all special, but I guess I'm just trying to humble myself in a sense of that's just telling you that God created me, created us all to come here on this planet. He puts a gift inside of us. He put that gift inside of us, and we're the missing piece to the puzzle. So once you come into this universe, I came into this universe, I'm still here. We're all still here. We're still standing. You get what I mean? So it's like, take your message, take your pain, use it as your purpose, right? And motivate people through your message, to try to help people. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I am, man. I've always been that type of person. Even right now, me doing this consulting business, man, is keeping people safe. It's all a form of how I can serve and keep, people alive and help other people. So that's pretty much what I do, man. That's who I am.
Good. That's real good. And the people can follow you on TikTok, Facebook.
Yeah, so on Facebook, Intangible Motivation, YouTube, Intangible Motivation. My TikTok is Jay Johnson, Jae Johnson. And then my Instagram is the same thing, Intangible Motivation. So pretty much anytime you see anything Intangible Motivation related, it's going to be something that God gave me, that message he gave me, the name he gave me. So.
Oh, that's good. Listen, I'm going to encourage you guys, man. If you haven't, man, check out my Intangible Motivation. Phenomenal. So here we go, Jay. We're going to close this out, right? I'm going to close this out. But I got a couple fun questions for you. And
Okay.
one, I'm going to put you on the spot because creativity is vital to leadership, right? And you a poet, my brother. Would you be willing to share one of your poetries for us, please?
Yeah, I mean, you are destined for more, and you can feel it deep down. It's that voice that gets stronger when no one is around. It's a sound that's so profound it will make your heart pound. Your gift is begging to be set free so the world can see who you came to be. It's your own voice that will stand in your way. But if you pray, God will never let you go astray. There's a fire that burns inside of you. And if you let God guide you, he will provide for you and never leave your side, too. The idea that you are holding back could be the glue to keep this world intact. You are buried treasure because you choose to be. So you can't be who you used to be. In order to accomplish your goals successfully, fear will make you feel inferior, but that's only interior. Embrace who you are, and you will go as far as the distant star. Try to show the world your existence instead of your resistance. And if you are persistent, you can definitely go the distance. You are the missing piece, to say the least. You are beautiful. You are a beast that will rise like yeast. But your life won't change until your light is released. Act now before you lose it. Find a path and use it. Mediocrity should never be an option unless you choose it.
Let's go. I love that. Thank you, my man. I appreciate that one. My final question for you, Jay, and that is, if you had a time machine and you can go back in history anywhere, where would you go and why?
Anywhere in history. I mean, if I were to say anything, just to go back and see my mom and hug her one last time, or dance with her one last time, have a conversation with her one last time. But in respect to the past, I don't think I would ever go back in time and try to change anything or fix anything or correct anything, because you, us, we wouldn't be who we are without the past. And you got to learn from the past, And so I don't think I would change anything. Obviously, a lot of people would tell you, I would prevent this, I would stop that, I would stop that. But I mean, it's all a part of your fate. It's all a part of what God has for you. And I don't think that if you go through that, grow. Let me say that, because anytime you go through something, you grow through something because you're growing because of it. So I don't think I'll tell you, I know I wouldn't be the man that I am today if I didn't have the past. So as much as I would love to change and have this beautiful, happy, childhood and stuff, man, I wouldn't change that for nothing, because right now I didn't let that dark world of my past shape me. Right now, I still full of love, still want to help this world, and I'm gonna give until the day God calls me.
Let's go. Listen, Jay, this was been phenomenal, brother. I truly appreciate you
Absolutely.
taking time for me today and in investing in my community of men, man. I wish you the best moving forward, brother. And I definitely love to stay connected. However,
For
we can
sure.
serve and work together, brother. Let's make that happen. Listen,
I would
guys.
love that, brother.
Yeah. Listen, guys, I want to say thank you for taking time for rocking with us on the Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Roberts. I want to encourage you, go follow my man, Jay Johnson, on all his social media platforms. Go see what he's up to. Go get connected, man. This is for you individuals, just saying to yourself, you know what? I just want to make my next move in life my best move. And I believe you make your next move in life your best move by connecting with people who are doing what you want to do. Go learn, go grow. Go talk, connect. This has been amazing. This is a Leadership Podcast. As you always hear your boy say, your success is in your hands.